And always lends you a nicker for petrol, you know. I like this life, though, don't you, Rodders, eh? Ducking and diving, wheeling and dealing, you know. It's exciting, isn't it? Unpredictable.
There are certain kinds of shows that can transcend in certain ways, and just make people enjoy them throughout their run. And in the UK, Only Fools and Horses was able to do that consistently across the board.
You got somewhere to stay? You know, after the auction.
Well, Trigger said I could doss down at his place. It's not much room, you know.
The show was about the chaotic lives of wheeler-dealer Del Boy Trotter and his younger brother Rodney. The cast and characters that the show featured had all sorts of audiences rolling around with laughter, and it brought in tens of millions of views on the regular, and inspired spin-offs and prequels. But what about those who made the original show famous? Allow us to show you the Only Fools and Horses cast, then and now. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Sir David Jason. Not surprisingly, we start out with the main character and main actor of the show, Sir David Jason, who played Del Boy Trotter, a man who was so gifted with trading and selling that just about anyone would fall for what he was selling them. Mainly because it was a scam, and he could sell that scam for whatever it was worth, and then some. It was a joy watching Del Boy work his magic on screen, but eventually he gave up the life and settled down with Raquel. Sir David Jason was only considered for the part later on, but made it his own, even bringing in Del's cheap gold jewelry and trademark camel coat. Showing just how important casting is to making a role shine. Sir David was knighted for services to acting and comedy in 2005, and has won 4 BAFTAs, 4 British Comedy Awards, and 7 NTAs, making him truly an established actor to be praised. Another role you could find him in was that of Detective Inspector Jack Frost, until retiring from the role in 2010, and he also starred in Granville, Open All Hours, and The Darling Buds of May. It's always good to see how an actor can be rewarded for their good work. Nicholas Lindhurst. Nicholas Lindhurst played Rodney Trotter, the brother to Del Boy, and the person who often had the role of sidekick and had to deal with what Del Boy was trying to sell. As he was raised by Del, Rodney was someone who came off as dependent on his brother in many ways, and Nicholas Lindhurst played that perfectly. But he was eventually able to get away from his brother's get-rich-quick gags and found himself in love with Cassandra. After some failed relationships, of course. This is a TV show after all. Post Only Fools and Horses, he went on to do other sitcom roles in shows like Goodnight Sweetheart, The Two of Us, and After You've Gone. He also played his character's gangster father, Freddie Robdahl, in the Only Fools prequel series Rock and Chips in 2010. Sadly for Nicholas though, while his career went well and he was able to have a family of his own, he lost his son at the age of 19 due to a brain hemorrhage. Leonard Pierce. Known simply as Granddad on the show, Leonard Pierce perfectly played the man who would be with the show since the beginning. The guy who loved to be in his chair watching TV while his grandsons got into all sorts of trouble and treated him like he was nothing more than a butler. Grandkids, right? Exactly. Before his time on Only Fools and Horses, Leonard Pierce was a man up in age who loved every role he got. He was working alongside the likes of Laurence Olivier and Anthony Hopkins, and appearing in plays including My Fair Lady and Much Ado About Nothing, which are big-time titles that he got to appear in for sure. However, much to the shock of the cast, he died suddenly in 1988 via a heart attack, and needless to say, the crew was very sad by his departure from their lives. They were filming the 4th season of the show when he passed, and so they had to reshoot some of the scenes they had already made with him to insert the new character that had been brought in to take his place. Buster Maryfield. Buster Maryfield sadly had the duty of replacing Leonard Pierce after his passing, and his character of Uncle Albert was the new character of the boys. Funnily enough though, Buster Maryfield wasn't picked for the role of Uncle Albert because of his acting ability or the various roles he played in the past. Rather, he got picked because he had a nice big white beard that could hardly be ignored, and that was enough to bring him into the fold. Which, believe it or not, has happened more times than not in Hollywood over the years. Buster was actually a man who didn't take acting seriously as a career path until he was 57 years old. But hey, better late than never, right? Often found reminiscing about his wartime experiences with the Royal Navy, Albert was Granddad's estranged brother and became famous for his catchphrase, "During the war." Sadly, Buster died in 1999 at the age of 78 as a result of a brain tumor, with Albert's death written into the next episode as a tribute. So while he didn't get to finish the show, he was honored in it, and that's something that he would have been proud of. Tessa Peake Jones. Heading now to the ladies of the series, Tessa Peake Jones played Raquel Turner, a character who, believe it or not, was not supposed to be in the show at all, and then was supposed to be there for only one episode. You see, Raquel as a character was created because the writers felt they needed more females in the show. And then when they wrote her up and cast Tessa Peake Jones, she really was supposed to be there for one episode alone. But the impact she made got them to realize that she was something special and that she needed to stay on. And she was there throughout the series and was the key love interest for Del Boy. The actress went on to appear in Midsummer Murders, Doctors, Casualty, Holby City, and Doctor Who. Roger Lloyd Pack, the man known solely as Trigger on the show, was played by Roger Lloyd Pack, and he did a good job playing the not-so-smart friend to Del Boy. While he was only in 39 episodes of the series, Lloyd Pack himself had an incredible career after he was off the series, gaining standout roles in BBC comedy The Vicar of Dibley and lavish US TV show The Borgias. You might also remember him as Barty Crouch Sr. in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Sadly, he too died rather young at the age of 69. John Shelly. Every show needs an underhanded person that isn't heroic in the slightest, and that was John Shelly as Boise. He was a car salesman who wasn't afraid to go and do what he felt was needed to get the sale. He was so good at his job that he was in 33 episodes and some of its spin-offs. After that, he could be found regularly on Doctors, Are You Being Served, and as Monty Staines on Benidorm. Sue Holderness. Sue Holderness played the wife of Boise via Marlene Boyce, and boy did she have an interesting character. At first, she was a spoken of but not seen character, but then appeared for 20 episodes and came off as a person that started a lot of rumors about her life, including that she was sleeping around with just about everyone, including Del Boy. She was a co-star in the spin-off The Green Green Grass, and she appeared in many other sitcoms and series including EastEnders. Paul Barber. Sadly, if there was a fool on the show, it wasn't Del Boy. It was Paul Barber's Denzel Tulser. Why? Because he was the one who kept falling for Del Boy's scams, right to the point where his wife left him in the show because of it all. Like we said, there's always a fool. Paul featured in a number of UK shows, including Brookside and Cracker, and was also one of the lead stars of the 1997 classic male stripper comedy film, The Full Monty. Still working, his recent credits include the children's show The Dumping Ground, Casualty, and Death in Paradise, showing that he had more to offer than Only Fools and Horses gave him. Gwyneth Strong. The woman who would eventually be with Rodney, Gwyneth Strong was Cassandra Trotter, and while she may have only appeared in 20 episodes of the series, those were key episodes, especially after she married Rodney and had very different views about where their lives should go. After the show ended, she found herself with plenty to do, as she went on to do many TV series and stage productions. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at the show Only Fools and Horses, and how the cast was able to make out after the beloved show ended? Do you think that some of these characters and actors came out better than others? Which ones were you the most sad to find out about in terms of their fates? Do you still remember this show fondly? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.